welcome to my garden update. I was thinking of creating a garden update weekly series. If that's something that you'll enjoy, please let me know so I can continue with the series. The reason why I wanted to start a series was because I noticed there was lots of things changing in my garden weekly. Like I would see lots of flowers blooming every week, and even the veggies and the sunflowers and the zinnias that I have in the beds have put on so much growth over the past few weeks, and I can see that every week there's like lots of new growth, lots of new lush leaves, lots of new flowers popping up here and there. Like on the weekend we had this whole area cleaned up. I was going to film it, but it just required a lot of time and labor and energy, so I didn't end up filming. But in the future there is something I'm thinking of doing, like sort of like a garden cleanup video, which would be very satisfying to watch. So you might notice that all the wilderness that was around here is no longer there. I sort of miss it, but at the same time I am also loving this clean look. I must say I am somebody who loves wild gardens and like the naturalistic look of a garden. So I always sort of rely on more of a naturalistic look rather than clean and cut gardens. My roses are starting to put on a new flush of buds, so I am very excited about that. Yes, the day before I came out here and I sort of gave my roses, the rose hips, a bit of a trim, because after the first flush it is always good to give the flowers that have gone withered, to just give them a good cut. So it's called deadheading. So if you're new to gardening, that might be a new term for you. Basically, deadheading is when you cut off the heads of flowers that have already bloomed. This is done to encourage flowers to put on the plant to put on more shoots and more flowers. It also makes the plant more healthy, because then the plant doesn't need to send energy to sort of turn the rose buds, the roses that have wilted, into rose hips. But if you are wanting to have rose hips, then by all means leave the flowers that have flowered in, so it creates rose hips. But for me, this summer I wanted to get as much blooms out of this rose as much as I can. So I'm really excited to sorry about that. I'm really excited to see the second flush of these roses. I also wanted to give an update of my lemon tree. I don't know why these look like this, but yeah, I've still got few that I haven't picked. They say it's healthier for the lemon plant to pick, like when it's fruiting. I don't usually like to pick all the lemons because it's a really young tree, and I like to pick as I need. So if I need a lemon, I'd come out here and pick what I need. And if I have friends that need few lemons, I'd pick for them. But I don't usually pick everything all in one go, just because I like the idea of having lemons in my lemon tree all summer long. And I also love the taste of fresh lemons, fresh from the tree. Trust me, it's so different. The flavor is just amazing when you just get it from the plant and have it as soon as possible. That's one reason why I do that. And also because I like the look of it, so I like to extend the lemons in the tree as much as I can. So as you can see, my foxgloves have finished flowering. These ones still have got few at the ends, but most of them have finished their first flowering. I think they just do one flowering for the season, and they're finished flowering, and they're going into seed now. So the ones here at the back, it's a really bittersweet moment because it's the foxgloves are one of the most loved flowers in my garden, and they're such a showstopper. They're so whimsical and they're just elegant, and I like to leave these heads throughout the winter season as well, because I feel like they create a really nice structural interest in the garden. I really love seeing the brown, dried, like long stems in winter, because it still feels like something's flowering in the garden. So I like to leave them. And another reason is I like it when they grow into seed. So if I leave them like this, like I can show you here. So these bits here will produce lots of seeds, and they just scatter everywhere. So what I do is I come out with a bag, and I put the bag over the seed stem, and then I shake the stem like that, and then it'll drop all the seeds in the bag. I don't usually catch everything because the wind does it for me, but they are self-seeding a lot, and I know why, because they just sway in the wind and they drop all the seeds. It has been good actually, because I've been able to pull out a lot of self-seeded foxgloves this year, and put them around where I want them to be, which is also a good thing, because I am trying to recreate my front border, and I need a lot of plants to do that. So I'm going to see if I can create a foxglove cluster, maybe in 3s or 4s around the front border, which would look really nice in a year or two. So that's my plan as well. My pansies, this one looks a bit sad because it just needs a little bit watering. Pansies are really dramatic. Like if you forget to water them even once, they'll just look like they're dead. But don't worry, when after I water them, she is just gonna pop up like this one here. What I've also been doing is I've been picking up these pansies and pressing them with my daughter, and we've just made a really cute frame out of it, which is a really fun activity. Moving on, my rose. This is a shrub rose. I don't know why my flowers keep turning white at the ends. It might be, I'm not sure about the science behind soils and everything, but it might be a bit more acidic, or the pH level might not be right for the flower. So I need to read on that and figure out why it's doing this. And my zinnias, my floret flower zinnias that I put on these borders, they are not doing the type of the speed of growth that I was hoping for, but they don't look sad either. So I'm hoping they will thrive. And my cosmos, I cannot believe these are all the cosmos that's self-seeded, and I think I might have just created my own variety thanks to the bees. So this one here looks like a cupcake blush. It's like a little cup, that's why it's called cupcake blush. And I feel like this one here is like half cupcake, half a normal cosmos. Sorry, it's not focusing. Yeah, so this one's really beautiful, and this one is from Veggie Flower and Garden seeds I got a year ago, and they have self-seeded as well. I think, if I'm not wrong, this one's like a double click variety with double flower petals. My Queen of Anne's lace, sorry, it's not focusing. She's just been a giver this year, just so beautiful and self-seeding everywhere. Like, look at that. Every time I see these, my heart just gets so happy. It's just so nice, so elegant, and I love their stems. My Olivia rose from David Austin Roses, she's also putting on her second flush of flowers. Like you can see new buds forming, lots of new buds forming here and there. She's very thorny, so I have to be careful. If I'm not wearing my rose gloves, I get my hand pricked all the time. There's lots of new buds everywhere and I'm so excited. I did come out here and give her a really good trim after the first flush as well. So I think that has really helped push out a new flush of flowers. This rose, this one's called Lush Showpiece. She's also put on a really nice growth this year. A little bit more flowers than last year. I did do the same for her as well. Like I deadheaded all the roses that had flowered. There's just one around here that I need to cut off. Yeah, and they seem really happy. This is a self-seeded calendula. She's doing really well. I'm really happy to see them, and when I'm inside I can just see these little orange heads popping around, and it's just the most beautiful sight, especially at the end of the day when it's the golden hour. So in this big pot I have a mix of this calendula. I put in some zinnias that's not doing a lot of growth, and a hollyhock at the back. I don't remember the color, but if I'm not wrong, I think that's the maroon one. I put in a peony, my white peony in here, but like you can see, so these are the leaves of the white peony, but this clovers are sort of taking over. So I need to control it and give my peony some room to grow because I don't want her to suffer. It is my second year having this peony, so they say the first year they just stay there, the second year there's this saying, I can't remember it at the moment, but they say the third year is when they actually start putting on flowers. So I'm really excited for that. I put in this Swan River daisy the other day that I got from Bunnings. She looked a bit sad when we got her, but now she seems to be doing really well. And cosmos, I put in few here and there, and you can see some buds forming already. I have been coming out here and plucking out the buds in the first few weeks because I didn't want them to go into an early flower. I wanted the plant to put on more growth and then grow taller before she started flowering. That way I could get more flowers out of it and it would get more stronger. So my pin cushions, they have been doing amazing. Like, look at these. She was just spreading everywhere on the floor and on the ground and on the grass and stuff. So I had to like pull her up and tie her. I haven't done a really good job, but I'm really happy with how they're turning up. Like some have even, the petals have fallen and now they're starting to go into seed. Here's a sunflower I put in earlier. She's doing really well. And I've got one somewhere here, just here. And my feverfews are doing really well. Like they're starting to flower. Just look at that. These remind me of like happiness. Like, who cannot be happy after seeing that? Like, look at that. And I cannot wait to cut them into bunches and put them in my vase arrangements when they put on a good show. The thing with feverfews is that they don't smell really well. They smell a bit off. So even though they're a really good cut flower and they last really well in a vase, I feel like they don't give out the best smell in the world. But I still love them, and they have been self-seeding everywhere. This is a self-seeded one and it's taking over the whole place. Like if you go around here, you can see that it's just doing really well. My Felicia rose is putting on new flowers again. She did have a really big flush of flowers at the beginning of the season, and I did the same as the other roses. I came out here and gave her a really good trim after the first flush, and she looks really healthy and really strong. Like her leaves look really nice, no black spots, no fungal disease, and I'm not even seeing aphids this year, which is amazing because last year this rose had heaps of aphids on it, and I really didn't do anything about it because I like to let nature handle pest problems as much as I can. I haven't used any pesticides or fungicides in my garden. I did use some weed killer in the beginning of my gardening, but I am now sort of changing my practices to suit natural habitats and to sort of support the biodiversity in the garden and sort of avoid any danger to birds or insects that fungal like pesticides and fungicides may cause. So I do that. I let nature do what it needs to do because when I love watching Gardening Australia, and in Gardening Australia they encourage gardeners not to use fungicides and insecticides, and if you're gonna use one, to use more of a natural one like vinegar or like a soap solution. But I haven't used any of those either, and they seem to have disappeared this year. I think that is also because I have been seeing a lot of ladybugs, and ladybugs are known to eat aphids. So what I have learned about pests is that if you leave it for nature to deal with, it just finds a way. It's trusting the nature's cycle of life and giving it a turn to take care of itself, and just seeing how it surprises you. So I'm really glad to see that my ladybirds have been doing a really good job at controlling the aphids. My blueberries, they are doing well. I just need to be vigilant enough to come out here and net them when they start to ripen, because then I can avoid the birds get into them. This spot has sort of like stumbled, so I need to level her up and give her a good chance. So I'm really excited to see blueberries. I want to incorporate more blueberries into my garden because blueberries are expensive to buy, and if I can have them in my garden, like, I'll be saving a lot of money. And also they're a superfood, so why not? So my beds, I have these 3 beds. I will start with this one that's putting on a lot of show, which is so exciting. So these are the dahlias. This particular dahlia is doing really well. I think this one puts on like a yellowish dahlia, and I'm really excited to see all the buds popping. Like, I can see a lot around the plant, and I'm really excited for that. And my cosmos here, she's doing really well. My eggplant is putting a lot of lush growth. My habaneros, I can see that she's going into flower, which means I'm gonna get chilies very soon. I'm really excited. And oh my god, the most exciting thing, like, look, cucumbers and more baby ones. I'm so excited to have some, pick some. My floret flower zinnias are doing really well. I am thinking of making a separate video for floret flower zinnias, just because I like to talk about it a lot and I want to record the progress of it over the summer season. The second bed, this one's got sunflowers, zinnias and kale here with a chili plant. I still need to put in some few more chilies here that I've been growing in the greenhouse, and the rest of the chilies and everything will go into this bed. So in here I have floret flower zinnias, my cosmos, my kale, a chili. You can see how tall she's gotten. I don't see any flowers at the moment, but I am expecting few. I need to come out here and cut some of this kale and bring them in. My flowers are starting to put new buds in. You can see from the last video, if you remember and if you watched it, you could see me doing snips of at the tops of these zinnias. That was to stimulate them to send out new shoots so it becomes more bushier. And just in a week you can see the amount of new stems they've formed. Like, look at this, look how they're popping up from everywhere. Even if you look at this one, so that was what I was talking about. It sends more shoots when you do that. Helps the plant to become more bushier. It encourages more growth. It's the same with the cosmos. If you haven't watched my video about the snips of these zinnias, you can find it under my channel. I think that one was the garden update. My sunflowers, they're doing really well, and some of these have multiple heads, which I'm really excited about. Like this one, it's got multiple heads, so when it flowers it's gonna be a stunner. In my last bed at the very back I have sunflowers. I don't remember this exact variety, but I will put it down in the description. I am really excited to see this one here. She's got heaps of sunflower heads and they're really putting on lots of beautiful growth, and I can see the head forming, which is so exciting. And down here I have more eggplant, more zinnias. Something's been, I think it's the cabbage white butterflies eating up my leaves, but I don't usually net my beds because I like to grow different things in beds, and netting just doesn't work, because if you're gonna net you have to have same length of level of plants that grow on the same height. As you see here, I have sunflowers and zinnias, and just netting wouldn't help them. It's not gonna work for them. So these pots, my sage and cosmos, this one's going into flower. Really excited about that. My pin cushion, and like, look at that fever fuse, so pretty. Raspberry, this variety is supposed to give fruit in autumn. It's a late fruiting one, so I'm hoping I'll get some fruit this year. But these varieties are fruiting right now. So that is the end of this week's garden update. I really hope you enjoyed seeing the new growth in my garden. I'm so excited to see all the flowers that is yet to bloom, and just so excited to see them grow every week. If you're new here, thank you for watching and thank you for stopping by. I hope to put out these gardening update videos once a week or twice or fortnightly. If you did like this video, please remember to give a like, and if you haven't subscribed already, please do. It'll help my channel grow and find new flower-like minded people who can follow along my journey. And until then, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.